Raghunatha Nayak was the third ruler of Thanjavur, southern India, from the Nayak dynasty. He ruled from 1600 to 1634 and is considered to be the greatest of the Thanjavur Nayak kings. His reign is noted for the attainments of Thanjavur in literature, art and Carnatic music. Early life. Raghunatha Nayak was the eldest son of Raghunatha Nayak and was born after intense penance by his father. The Raghunatha Buddhayam and Sahityanatyakāra give a detailed account of his childhood. As a boy, Raghunatha was taught the Shastras, the art of warfare and administration. He had multiple queens, chiefly Kalavati, who is referred to in the Raghunatha Buddhayam as Patemparani. Ramabhadramba, who wrote a history of the Thanjavur Nayak dynasty, was one of his concubines. In his early days, Raghunatha won acclaim fighting the Golconda Sultanate. Raghunatha ascended the throne in 1600 and ruled with his father from 1600 to 1614 and as sole monarch from 1614 to 1634. Campaigns and wars. In 1614, Sri Ranga II, the Raja of Vijayanagar, was killed by a rival claimant, Jagaraya. Raghunatha proceeded against Jagaraya to avenge the murder. Different accounts give varying versions of the events. According to Ramabhadramba, Raghunatha first fought a rebellious regional chieftain called Salaga, pursuing him to Kumbakonam and then besieging him in his island fortress on the Kollidam before turning his attention to the Portuguese and attacking Jaffna. After his victory over the Portuguese, Ramabhadramba claims, Raghunatha returned to the Indian mainland, where he pursued Jagaraya to Topur and defeated him. He later constructed a pillar of victory and took possession of Bhuvanagiri near Chidambaram. According to Raghunatha Dikshita, the campaign was preceded by a council held by Chudhapa Nayak in which Raghunatha, Govinda Dikshita and the exiled king of Jaffna participated. The whole campaign against Jagaraya and Salaga was the outcome of this conference. The Battle of Topur was dated to the 12th of December 1616 based on the Raghunatha Buddhayam, which states that Raghunatha was camping at Pazamaneri in August 1616. Portuguese chroniclers dated Raghunatha's victories in Jaffna to the beginning of 1616. The campaign against the Salaga must have also taken place at this time. Campaign against the Salaga. The Raghunatha Buddhayam says that Salaga was the ruler of an island and a feudatory of Krishnappa Nayak of Jinji. He is described as a highwayman who attacked passers-by and stole their belongings. Raghunatha's campaign was a punitive expedition to put an end to his activities. Raghunatha attacked Salaga's headquarters near Kumbakonam, supported by Krishnappa Nayak, the Portuguese and Muslim mercenaries. Salaga put up stiff resistance but was finally defeated by Raghunatha's artillery. He was captured and imprisoned along with his family. Invasion of Jaffna. Following the victory over Salaga, Raghunatha attacked Jaffna, possibly to punish the Portuguese, who had aided Salaga in the war against him. While according to Nayak chronicles, Raghunatha himself led the expedition, according to Portuguese records, the campaign was led by one Km Nayak, a general in service of Raghunatha. The Thanjavur Nayak forces were victorious and the Portuguese were evicted from Jaffna. Kankili II of the Arya Chakravarti dynasty was placed on the throne. However, Kankili II ruled for barely 2 years before being overthrown and killed in 1619. Battle of Topur. On his return to India, Raghunatha Nayak personally led an army against Jagaraya, who had usurped the throne of Vijayanagar after killing Sri Ranga II. Jagaraya was assisted by the Nayak of Madurai. Raghunatha Dikshita mentions that Jagaraya was supported by Yavanas and Parasikas, whose identities remain unclear. Raghunatha's army consisted of strong infantry and cavalry divisions, elephant corps and gunmen. The Vijayanagar claimant Rama Deva Raya fought alongside him. The two armies met at Topur. Raghunatha was completely victorious. Jagaraya was captured and killed and Rama Deva Raya was placed on the throne. Later campaigns. Raghunatha also conducted minor campaigns, though he was not able to prevent the Arya Chakravarti dynasty from being overthrown. He kept up pressure against the Portuguese by supporting rebellions. The Karayas, a class of fishermen along the Gulf of Mannar, made 6 attempts between 1620 and 1621 to overthrow Portuguese rule. Raghunatha himself sent 5 armies between 1619 and 1621 to conquer Jaffna, but all of them ended in failure. Patronage of arts and music. Raghunatha patronized Carnatic music in his kingdom. The Nayak himself composed a number of yakshaganas and was a good veena player. Kshatriya, the composer from Muva, visited Thanjavur and composed padas during his reign. Raghunatha also renovated a number of Vaishnavite temples. He constructed the Ramaswamy temple in Kumbakonam, the popular Saraswati Mahal library in Thanjavur and the Gopura of the Adikamaswara temple in Kumbakonam. He expanded the Uppaliyappan temple and the Rajagopalaswamy temple. Managudi. The car festivals of Tiruvayuru and Pasupati Koil were conducted on a lavish scale. Raghunatha changed the structure of the veena and invented the Raga Jayantasena and the Tala Ramananda. He also composed a number of kavyas in Telugu, important ones being Parijata Paharanamu, Valmiki Tritram, Rukmini Parana Yakshaganim, and Ramayanam. He wrote the Sanskrit plays Sangeeta Sudha and Bharatha Sudha. The Telugu poets Ramabhadramba, Madhuravani, Chemakura Venkataraju and Krishnadwari were active during his reign. Raghunatha was also an expert sword fighter and horse rider. Raghunatha's biographies note his generosity towards Brahmins. Raghunatha constructed a number of agraharas and gave costly gifts to poor Brahmins and the disabled. A 1604 inscription from Narottamapandi records Raghunatha's gift to the village of Kailashapuram for the upkeep of the Sri Rangam temple. He also gave lavish gifts to the Madhva pontiff, Vijayendratitha, and the Sri Mutt in Kumbakonam. Relationship with European powers. Raghunatha maintained cordial relations with the Danes and the English. The Portuguese had established factories at Santo Tomé and Nagapattinam on the eastern coast prior to the accession of Raghunatha, while the Dutch founded a settlement at Tegnapatnam in 1610. South Indian rulers patronized and supported the Dutch in order to neutralize the belligerent Portuguese. Overged of the Danish East India Company founded the settlement of Tranquebar on the 19th of November 1620. Following a visit to Raghunatha's court, the English Captain John Johnson and Brockton, the president of the English settlements, tried to convince the directors of the East India Company to send a mission to Thanjavur. Johnson wrote home, ... The great Nag demands of men what the reason is that the English do not desire to trade in his land as well as the Portugal, saying they shall have the pepper and anything the land doth afford, and likewise buy the commodities that they do bring with them, as tin, lead, iron and red cloth is well sold. Little does our nation know how they are expected all this land. Thus the Danes do trade under the name of the English and are marvellous well used. Johnson's proposal was approved. A mission landed at Karaikal on the 23rd of May 1624 and proceeded inland to Thanjavur to seek an audience with the king, reaching the capital in June. Raghunatha received the visitors warmly and granted them permits to trade freely in Karaikal. However, Raghunatha later withdrew his concessions and demanded an annual rent of 7,000 reals. This volte-face has been attributed to pressure from the Portuguese and the Danes. Nevertheless, Johnson rejected the Nayak's offer and returned to England, where his action was severely censured. The English also tried to get Pondicherry from the Jinji Nayaks and failed. Extent of Raghunatha's kingdom. Raghunatha's empire extended far beyond the confines of Thanjavur district. His inscriptions have been found in Thirukoshi in Ramanathapuram district, Lalgudi in Tiruchirappalli district, Govindavadi in Kashipuram district, and Neduganram and Naratampandi in Vellore district.